Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new episode of the Football Suite Chat Show. I'm of course your host Leon, and with me today is my co-host Richard and head of social media Andrew. We also have a new guest with us. We have John. John is a Man United fan. John, what made you want to come on the show?
Well, to be honest, Richard's been pestering me for a couple of weeks.
Good lad.
I've been following it since you started. I've been listening in, and it just sounds like it's obviously I listen to TalkSport a lot as well, so I just like to get involved.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's what we want. We're all fans. We all like to talk about the game. The topics today are the great legend of a player who's leaving the Premier League, Steven Gerrard, a topic I know Richard will be eager to talk about. The topic after that is the FA Cup review, the third round. The next topic will be a former ref criticising top referees. And then to finish the topics, we have transfer rumours. So we'll start off with the first topic of Sir Steven Gerrard. Richard, have at it.
Where do you start, really? Let's.
He's better than Paul Scholes, is he? Or?
No, he's not even. He's not even fit to lace Paul Scholes' boots. The fact that, look, at the end of the day, he's a good player. Let's not, you don't play at the top of the game like he has done if you're not a decent player. But something just don't sit right with me with it. I mean, I'm pretty positive at some point during Ryan Giggs' career, Paul Scholes' career, Alan Shearer's career, Frank Lampard's career. Pretty much every single one of them players has had the chat at one point with a manager where he's basically said, look, you're not going to play week in, week out. You're 34, 35. We can't keep relying on you. It happened with Paul Scholes. It's happened with Frank Lampard. Frank Lampard doesn't expect to play week in, week out at Man City. He didn't expect to play week in, week out in his last season at Chelsea. No. He was used as and when, but something just doesn't sit right with me with it. Why not stay? If you're going to go and play in America for 2 seasons, why not stay? And to come out recently, he said, was it yesterday, that if they'd have offered him a new deal last season, he'd have signed it. Well, it's not too late to stay. Look, if you love the club as much as he says he does,
exactly.
What's stopping him? The fact of the matter is that Steven Gerrard knows he isn't going to win a trophy with Liverpool, and he doesn't want to retire not having won a league title or a major trophy. I mean, I know he won the European Cup, but I think he's just basically gone for the money. He must know that he's not going to be a week in, week out starter at Liverpool. Yeah. It's just something doesn't sit right. I think something not right there. Something's must have happened between the manager and the player, because you don't walk away from Liverpool Football Club if you love them so much and you think you can play for another 18 months, 2 years. You don't do it.
Well, maybe it's the whole thing of... this is actually a good question for you, John. We've seen over the last few years, we've seen Torres go, we've seen Suarez go. We haven't seen many world-class players come in. You look at the likes of... Paul Scholes, who basically retired at the club and then they asked him to come back. That's a different thing with Gerrard. What do you think's going on here?
I'm in agreement with Richard, to be honest. I think that something has definitely gone on along the lines. I think it's money. I think he's definitely gone for the money, but I think it's all started from the Liverpool-Real Madrid game. He's retired from English football purely to... I think he had it in his head that he was going to be playing week in, week out, and that's why he retired from English football, to prolong his career at Liverpool. As much as I'm not a Gerrard fan, I think that the club have been quite disrespectful to him in a way. That is the only thing I can think of as to why he would move on. I mean, it's his boyhood club.
Yeah,
like we say, with
he was an Everton fan.
Sorry, go on.
He was an Everton fan. So
was Jamie Carragher, wasn't he?
when it suited him.
Not really his boyhood club, was it? Really, let's be honest.
But also, you look at I may be of a different opinion, but this is Andrew. when Lampard left Chelsea, there was a lot of players around him who could fill that spot, you know, and then you bring in someone like Cesc Fabregas. But Liverpool shown that Gerrard has been doing it quite a bit. So what do you think about that? You know, it's not, they haven't got someone to replace him instantly.
But I think with the Gerrard thing, I think he's realised as well the fact that it will take him going for them to replace him. So it's only through the act of actually leaving. I think I have no problem with him going to LA Galaxy. I think John made a great point, the idea that it's all down to that the thing of Gerrard retiring for England and then him actually not then playing. I think that has triggered something in him that's kind of like, whoa, hang on, I hung up my boots for England to play for Liverpool consistently and you're not giving me what I want. So, like, understandably, 100%, he's probably got mates over there in LA. So he's just going to go over there, take the money, have 18 months career, try and win a nice title if he can, and have a nice 5 years there, probably just retire. Sounds good to me.
Yeah, and especially for John and Richard, you know, I'm sure you've loved the last 12 months for Liverpool, but it hasn't really been easy for him.
Well, he's not been... He's been on a pretty much a downward spiral, really, if you look at it. I mean... I'm just looking here. I mean, he made 39 appearances last season, and
that's a lot for someone of his age, isn't it?
It's a lot for someone of his age, but I can't really pick out a game last season where he was a world beater or he changed the game. I can't remember when Steven Gerrard, you know, last had a game where he was influential and he was I mean, I know he scored a couple against Wimbledon on was it Wednesday, Tuesday night? But
yeah,
it's AFC Wimbledon. It's nothing major. It's nothing amazing. But it
would be good to have him as sort of morale round the club, though, wouldn't it? You know,
yeah, I don't understand why he'd leave. I mean, first of all, I don't understand why Brendan Rodgers left him out of the team to play Real Madrid in the first place. I don't understand that. And I think obviously a lot of Liverpool fans have probably got to put the blame that Steven Gerrard's not retiring at the club on the head of the manager, because I mean, why not? Why not? You know Steven Gerrard's contract's about to expire in 12 months' time.
Mm-hmm. And he really is sort of like Mr. Liverpool, isn't he? You know, he's the sort of player you think he would reduce his wages to stay at the club. And, you know, he's not a young person anymore. You know, I don't personally think he's expecting to play every match.
But the thing is that's expected, though, at that age. You know, Ryan Giggs took a pay cut to continue his career at Manchester United. I'm pretty positive Paul Scholes didn't retire on over $100,000 a week.
No.
You know, it's expected to the older you get, the less you play. Obviously, your wages decreased. I'm pretty positive that if Rio Ferdinand would have signed an extension contract at United, he wouldn't have been on the $100,000 a week he was on previously. Yeah. He'd have probably, you know, had to take it. I can't imagine him being on $100,000 a week at Crystal Palace.
Mm.
So it's just, I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, he's a good player. I mean, just not on the basis of a Man United fan. I don't think he's the player that Liverpool fans make out that he is. I really don't think he's this world class midfielder that I don't. I've never seen it. I really don't. And he's had the odd few great games where he's been pretty decent, but
nah.
I'm pretty positive there's a fair few midfielders. I mean, he's not in Paul Scholes and Frank Lampard's league, without a shadow of a doubt.
I think a lot of it. You know, Liverpool have a big fan base and. You know, they're always going to support people like they've supported Suarez during incidents he's done. You know, some of them are still supporting Mario Balotelli, but, you know, I don't think Liverpool fans are going to be supportive of Chelsea players or Man United players. So you look at players like Frank Lampard and Paul Scholes and you see other teams mentioning them, but you don't see a lot of other teams other than, well, pundits, and most of them are Liverpool pundits, mentioning Steven Gerrard. And when, like you said, when we hear about him being this sort of world beater, and people comparing him to Xavi, people comparing him to Zinedine Zidane, you know, the greats of the game, and Gerrard's name, it really doesn't fit in there. What do you think, John?
I have to disagree with Richard a little bit on the fact that last season, obviously Liverpool had Suarez and Sturridge, which that's the only reason why they got so close to where they were, because they were conceding 3 goals, but they were scoring 4. So, but in the sense that I think Gerrard had a big part to play in last season, and I think that was part of his decision as to why he decided to hang his boots up for England. And for me, I think that he's talked to Brendan Rodgers when the whole speculation about him retiring for England, and I think he's been sort of semi-promised, you will play most games next season, and it's just not happened. But I don't necessarily think that's Brendan Rodgers' fault, because his form this season has just been terrible. So that has obviously had a part to play. But in regards to staying there, and he is Mr. Liverpool and everything else, he is, but at the end of the day, it is boiling down to money, and there is that sense that he is always going to be one of the players of, like, your younger generations are always going to think of Steven Gerrard, whereas, and I know people were saying before about they've always condoned and they'll always stick by the players, but he has been there for 16. He's had 16 seasons there now, so it's not as if he's been there 6 or 7 years. He is essentially Mr. Liverpool, and
that's why I think it shocked a lot of people. You know, it was similar to Lampard. You know, it would be similar if, like, a Man United player like Scholes sort of went to the MLS. Obviously, Lampard didn't go to the MLS. Thanks for that, Frank. But you know, you're seeing a player which you don't expect to leave. You know. And you don't see that at clubs anymore. You don't see the players that are there for so long. So it does come to a shock to us when we see someone like Gerrard leave. As much as we all have our opinions on him, and, you know, I'm never ever going to class Gerrard as one of the greats. You know, you hear, like, celebrities and pundits type in all this nonsense, in my opinion. But, you know, a lot of it's opinion based from Liverpool supporters and pundits. Am I wrong?
But he wanted to go to Chelsea at one point. He handed in a transfer.
That's what I do not understand.
He wanted to leave. I mean, I'm not being funny, but no matter how, you know, there's the well documented story about Inter Milan wanting Paul Scholes. Paul Scholes didn't have an agent. He didn't need an agent because he knew he was never going to play for another football club.
Yeah,
he was playing for Manchester United, and there's a well documented story that Inter Milan were given permission to buy Paul Scholes. They were given permission to speak to him by Manchester United. If they wanted to, they could speak to him because Manchester United knew the response they were going to get. So it wasn't going to harm anybody by him speaking to him. And Paul Scholes' response to Inter Milan was, yeah, you can buy me as long as you buy this football club.
But also, and it shows a lot of actual morals within Paul Scholes, because you've looked at other players and they've said that, oh yeah, I love being at the club, but the minute the club accept a bid for you, you know your time's over. Well, no, not really. That's you accepting an offer. You know,
I mean, the thing is, I mean, we're only talking 10 years ago. I mean, we're talking that 10 years ago, he admitted that he was not happy with Liverpool's progress, and for the first time in his career, he'd thought about moving on and puts a transfer request in. And you know, Chelsea bid £20 million for him, and he eventually does a U-turn and stays. Now, that's no different than what Wayne Rooney's done on a couple of occasions at Manchester United, and it's no different than what other footballers have done at different football clubs and throughout the world. But, you know,
you don't expect your legend to do it.
Yeah,
though,
we're talking about, you know, Ryan Giggs would never put a transfer. John Terry would not put a transfer request in at Chelsea. Yeah. He wouldn't do. John Terry would probably play for free. If Mourinho turned around and said to him at the end of the season, said, look, Joe, you've got an option. You can go elsewhere, or we can drop you down to 10 grand a week, and you're going to play maybe 10, 12 games this season. I'm pretty positive John Terry would stay at Chelsea.
And also, like, I said to my dad the other day, actually, was talking about it, And I said, just to think, if Liverpool wouldn't have won that Champions League, Gerrard would be a Chelsea player, without a doubt. Because that was...
He wouldn't be at the football club if he hadn't won the Champions League. Simple as that. And look, we could talk about Gerrard all day, to be perfectly honest. I don't understand why he's left the football club, especially now. This is the same... For me, I think proper Liverpool fans, I think a few of them have lost a bit of respect for him. The same as well, proper hardcore United fans lost a lot of respect for Nemanja Vidic. Last season, we weren't performing well. We were under the cosh.
Sort of jumped ship, didn't he?
And that's what it come across like. In January, he announces he's going to Inter Milan and he's jumping ship. That's the captain of your football club. You know, do you think fans feel the same way about Rooney that they did before he started all this transfer? Not actually a transfer request, but all the talk of I'm not happy here and stuff like that. The thing is with Wayne Rooney, the first time there was a massive backlash from the first time that he actually did put a transfer request in and then obviously signed a 5-year deal. The second time he never actually put a transfer request in.
Yeah, it was just paper talk.
He was clever enough to keep his mouth shut because he knew that Alex Ferguson would consider that he...
Oh, losing you there, Richard.
Yeah.
Can the others hear okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, Richard, you're breaking up a bit there.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Brilliant. Yeah, so, I mean, as I was saying, Wayne Rooney puts his transfer request in and there's a backlash from it. Nemanja Vidic jumped ship last season. In my opinion, United was struggling. We needed our captain to drag everybody up by the scruff of the neck, and he jumped ship. Steven Gerrard's doing the same. Everybody in the pundits, fans, probably Brendan Rodgers, we're all expecting Liverpool to walk the Premier League this season.
Do you feel the same about that, John? You know what Richard said about Nemanja Vidic jumping ship?
For me, it's not so much I'm annoyed with him because he's not come from the roots. He's not... For me, yeah, of course, he's always going to be a legend and we'll always look onto him as one of the, up there with our greatest captains. But I just think it doesn't happen anymore in football nowadays. That longevity and people staying at a club, it just doesn't happen. It's not out of the ordinary. Now, I said from the start of the season that the best thing to do would be to either let Gerrard leave or put him on the bench because his form wasn't great and he was costing Liverpool. So for me, I don't think it's a bad thing. Gerrard's getting what he's wanting. Let's just hope to, well, I don't hope, but let Liverpool fans that they do try and sort of replace him and not just do what they did with the Suarez money and buy 6 players that...
But also, it's not just simple as the Suarez one where it was just replacing a player. As much as they didn't do that, they need to sort of find a captain quick because I don't see any leaders in that team.
For me, though, I think Jordan Henderson has come up so much besides Steven Gerrard and this season I think he is looking like he will again though. Will he stay at the club? If he keeps performing how he does and he gets better and better, will he stay at the club? But for now, the only replacement for me will be Jordan Henderson, not Martin Skrtel. He's not good enough and there's not even one other player on the pitch that I can think of, but Jordan Henderson I think is really sort of maturing into the game now and he is looking to get better and better.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely have seen him grow since he's joined Liverpool, and obviously there was a time when we didn't think he was the player that all the pundits said that he was. But before we end this topic, we've all said our opinions on Steven Gerrard and the sort of calibre of his performances. But Andrew, what's your opinion on Gerrard? Do you agree with what myself, Richard and John said? We don't agree with how good pundits and fans have made him out to be?
I completely understand what you're saying. My only thing with Gerrard is, though, his skill may not have been the technical side. His skill was grabbing that team when they needed a win and getting them that win. You look at Istanbul, you look at the FA Cup against West Ham, like that was his skill. His skill was to be that captain, as you're saying, Mr. Liverpool, who would win them trophies. Like, I'm just going to put it out as like an Arsenal fan, like that is what Arsenal have been crying out for years, is a player who will win Arsenal the game from nothing, and he did that on so many occasions. And I think that, for me, is more why people put him in the bracket of how good he is, as opposed to his technical skill, as you would like with Iniesta and stuff.
Definitely. That was definitely an interesting topic. And on to the next topic, the FA Cup review. Our review of the games that have been played so far, third round. Not many sort of outstanding wins from anyone, really. The teams that were expected to win, I think, done so comfortably. We'll talk about Manchester United, Yeovil. What did you guys think of the match?
Terrible.
Why was it terrible?
I don't know. It's just one of them, isn't it? Form goes out the window with the FA Cup. Not that we've had much over the past couple of games, but they always seem to grind out results. Your lower league sides and even your non-league sides half the time. But I don't know. Again, there's just nothing. The defence for me was just unbelievably terrible. McNair, he's too young. He's just not ready to be in the first team for me. Tyler Blackett, I think he will turn into a good centre-half, but at the minute, again, he's not good enough. Johnny Evans, our back line is just laughable. I mean, we talk about Liverpool's back line and how they sort of cost them the league last season, but God, our back line is just unbelievably bad. And
Arsenal, don't forget.
Well, yeah.
That's uncalled for. There's no need for that.
It had to be said, but nah. But
the United game, it was a proper game of football. It was a proper FA Cup tie. I think for the vast majority of the game, United looked under pressure, but not. I don't think United ever looked like they were going to get beat. I don't think that was the problem. It
took them a while to get into rhythm.
Yeah, it took them a while, but obviously you've got the pitch that they've not used to, the ground, the fans so close to it. You know, you've got the vast majority.
You're breaking up a bit there, mate. Richard on his dial-up internet's breaking up there. Sorry.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now, mate.
Just wind your phone back up again, Richard. Put another 10p in there.
Hey, I'm using Andrew's dad's internet here. He's got the BT Infinity.
Oh, not a good advert for BT.
Advertisement for BT.
This is it.
But yeah, from what I could see in the highlights, Di Maria did really make a big impact when he came on. But you don't really want that from Di Maria, do you? You want to see some young players playing.
Yeah, well, United won the FA Cup. They've not 2004. For a team of Manchester United's calibre to have only Darren Fletcher in the side that's actually won an FA Cup, you know, that's quite shocking, really.
Yeah,
you know, we need to get back in, etc., and get into finals like we used to be. But I just think it was a proper game of football, and we got through in the end. I think the Cambridge game will be just the same. At Old Trafford, we beat Yeovil 5-6-0 easily.
Yeah.
At Old Trafford, we beat Cambridge United 6-7-8-9-10-0.
But isn't this also the beauty of the FA Cup? You know, you're seeing lower league teams.
Yeah.
Playing against, giant killers, really.
But that's what you want, though. I mean, look at the West Brom game. You know, what was it, 8-0 against Gateshead?
7.
Brutal.
You don't, you know what I mean? You don't really want that. You wanted Gateshead to maybe score the first goal and make a game of it. You know, you maybe wanted Yeovil to equalise, and that's the romance of the FA Cup, and that's why it'll always be one of the biggest and best competitions in world football. It's obviously not got the rap and as what it used to have, but you know, it's still a competition that the vast majority of players these days are thinking, my dream is to walk when people.
Yeah.
I mean, and for teams like and Cambridge and Gateshead and to draw in the next round, to draw on.
You're breaking up again a bit, mate. Right, I think Richard's broken up there, but we could all get the point that he was on about. We want to see a few good lower league teams put the Giants to sleep, as it were. We saw Chelsea play Watford. Did you guys get to see any of the highlights?
Yeah, I'd just like to step in. They don't show the FA Cup here in America, and I've been struggling to find highlights, so I haven't been able to see much about it.
Well, all you need to know is that you drew with Burnley, mate.
Yeah.
But no, it was a strange third round. There wasn't. We want to see upsets, don't we? And we really didn't see that at all. Liverpool almost struggled against AFC Wimbledon, but then Super Steve was there to sort of push them through. We heard Richard say about the Oval match. What was your final opinions on that, John?
I think if Ander Herrera didn't score that goal, it'd have been a replay at Old Trafford. But that's an FA Cup goal. It's a wonder goal. You don't score them. You score them every few seasons, if that. But
yeah,
exactly as he said. I mean, it's a typical FA Cup tie. You can't call them. There's just no way. Form goes out the window. But when you were saying about the pitch and things like that, for me, there's no excuses. You're a professional football player. Wayne Rooney's getting paid £300,000 a week. So if you can't play on a bobbly pitch, then the world's gone crazy. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, good result. We go on to face Cambridge United, and again, I think that'll be another tough test for us.
Yeah, definitely. Richard's having connection issues, so it may mean that he is unavailable for the rest of the episode. So we'll have to sort of go through that without him. But we do have a guest, as you all heard. Gage has joined the show a bit later than the rest of us, but we can carry on from here. The Chelsea-Watford match, it was routine after the first half. I thought they gave us don't think they gave us a tough first half, but I feel like they didn't make it easy, and we didn't take our chances in the first half. It wasn't a very good game to watch, and there was points where if they could have sort of pushed up a little bit and maybe taken their chances, they could have maybe threatened, but it didn't happen. Once Chelsea got the first goal, there wasn't any other way that we was going to win. So pretty basic match, not much to talk about. But there was also a replay of the last year's cup final. A lot less hype.
Dramatic.
Yeah, a lot less dramatic and a lot less hype around it. But Arsenal Hull, we do have a member who went to the match. Andrew, what did you think of it?
I'd like to speak of as the champions of the FA Cup. We've got to take each round very seriously to keep our credit. No, it was seriously. It's exactly what you were saying. I think, in all fairness to Hull, it was a very weaker side than they'd put out normally, and I think Alexis Sanchez just made it worth the money going to watch it again. He's just absolutely ridiculous player. He could just win Arsenal the matches. We are relying on him a bit too much, but when you've got a player of that calibre, the lucky thing is you can rely on him.
Yeah, and one thing so far, he hasn't shown much injury prone, has he?
Well, he's the complete opposite. He wants to play these matches and everything. He was supposed to be rested for the whole match, but he told Wenger I want to play, which you can't really complain about, can you? No,
definitely. But do you think it? You think it may be a problem in time when it comes down to that he does get injured? What do Arsenal have then?
Well, yeah, that is the problem, because you've got to think. There will have to be a time when Wenger does just say to him, no, you are rested this match. You can't it's just going to have to happen. It may be something like the Brighton game or something later on this month, where it's just going to have to be, you can't play because, like you're saying, he's at Arsenal, he's going to get injured. It just has to happen. Everybody does.
Yeah, but also we've seen it before. Remember when Cesc Fabregas was injured and he brought him on for 15 minutes, Fabregas won the game and then got injured again. So, he has a history of it, and do you think that could lead to Sanchez maybe having problems?
Well, yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, any person in physio would tell you that you shouldn't really be playing as the intensity as he is every match, because regardless of how fit you are, with the tackles that are coming in the Premier League compared to La Liga, it's going to it will affect him. I think a lot of Arsenal fans are just waiting for that moment when it does. But then again, I mean, Arsenal got Daniel Welbeck, so we're fine.
Yeah, Richard isn't on to sort of have a go.
That's why I said, I just got one.
But the fourth round draw was made. Some interesting fixtures there. Cambridge United, Manchester United. Do you think that could be a sort of giant killer?
Please.
What do you think, John?
I think I think we're going to struggle. It's going to be a tough test, but I do think we'll come through it. Let's be honest.
You're going to come through.
But again, I think, like you said, I would like to see some of the kids that we've got. I mean, it's all well and good seeing all these Galacticos that we've got, your Falcaos, your Di Marias, but at the end of the day, I still like to go and watch the reserves, and I'll watch the reserves on the telly and the under-21s, and it's good to see what youth we've got coming through.
Yeah, and especially with Man United, they've got such a history of bringing youth players through.
It. And the same with Van Gaal as well. I mean, whilst he was with Ajax, that's what he's all about as well, is bringing them through.
Yeah.
But I just think that we're not going to win the league. Make no bones about that. I hope we finish top 4. It's still on a cliffhanger, but I think we will do it. So the only thing he's got to aim for is the FA Cup. So let's see if we can try and win that. Yeah,
definitely. Arsenal have I'd say they got the easier pick of the draw, Brighton, Hove Albion. What do you think, Andrew? Do you think that's an easy win?
I think this season it is, but I think in seasons prior, I don't think it would have been, only because of Brighton's quite poor form in the Championship. I think it's a club that we're seeing where it's another one where priorities are going to be shown, I think, for Brighton. I think they're going to definitely be thinking about trying to stay in the Championship as opposed to getting as far as they can in the FA Cup. Yeah,
definitely. Chelsea definitely got an interesting draw, which could be a very hostile match in Chelsea versus Millwall at home. Yeah, that could definitely be interesting. Can't wait.
I fancy that.
I'll get tickets for all of you if that happens.
That just to hear all the banter between you and Docklanders on Twitter.
Oh, good. Yeah, that. To be fair, the match I don't think is going to be much banter more than just straight up violence. But no, definitely. And obviously Burnley, when they beat Tottenham, will play Leicester City.
No. Come on.
But we'll go on to the next topic. The next topic is a former ref criticises top referees. This is the story of a previous Premier League referee coming out and saying that the referees are at the worst level that he can remember. He's actually named quite a few referees as well that deserve to be sacked, and one of them who needs to take a fitness test. What did you guys think of this story?
Good on him.
Yeah, but in specifics, we've talked about the referees at the moment, and I've said before, Andrew will know this, that I think the referees are the worst in Europe.
Yep.
And I think they're just ridiculous, and we really need a revamp. I've seen nothing positive in the last 2 years that shows me that they're getting better. I feel like they needed to bring goal line technology because some of them couldn't do their job properly. And a lot of things with diving recently, they're just getting it completely wrong. Some of them that are blatant as well. It's a fast-paced game, and you're going to get mistakes, but not to the extent that it's happening now. What do you think, Andrew?
Well, I think haven't we done at least 5 shows in a row where we've talked about referees like justly as well, how bad decisions they've done.
Yeah, and it's been individual matches as well, hasn't it? It's not like we're actually taking the referees as a topic. You know, we're talking about topics that they've done during match reviews, and that's the worst of all.
I think this is it now. We need radical change now. I think a lot of them need to be not dropped down. I think like what the reviewers, I think they should be gone. I think they should say, right, because it's like you say what you want about football is a cutthroat business modern day in the Premier League. If a manager was showing the numbers of losses that these refs are in mistakes, they'd be gone.
But also, you could say this is happening because the referees, get ex-footballers as referees, because some of them that will know the game will know when a certain player's trying to dive and trying to win a penalty. It seems like these referees aren't in touch with actual football. They may know the game through statistical views, but and they can pass a test, but it all changes when you're out there from Sunday League to Premier League. It's all different, and some of the refs that are making consistent mistakes have been reffing big games in Europe. They've been reffing in European Cup finals and World Cup finals.
Another problem with our refs is the fact that it's like you're saying, it's spot on that point that let's bring in, I don't know why we don't bring in referees who are ex-footballers. They don't have to be Premier League. They can be any level. They can be at any level of football, as long as it's obviously of maybe of professional standard, but not even then. So, like you're saying, so they have a key understanding of the fundamentals of modern day football. Because a lot of our referees now when they were learning their trade, diving wasn't a bigger part as it is now.
Exactly.
So they're not used to it to the scale that it has now. Like when they were just learning, like Italy had it all, but it was never here. So that's why they need not Premier League. They need footballers of any level, just so they know modern day, and like you're saying, so they'll be keeping touch. Yeah,
definitely. And also, we've seen some referees. They do look really unfit. We look at I can't remember the actual name of the referee. It is, I think Phil Dowd.
Phil Dowd, yeah.
Yeah, and he just looks so unfit. He does not look like he should be. And I know he was ill, but maybe it was a time to sort of like give him a break and make sure he was fit before he came back, because he really doesn't look well at the moment. And trying to keep up with the fastest pace time in the Premier League, it's not easy.
Yeah, especially he reffed the Tottenham Chelsea game, didn't he, Leon?
Yeah.
I thought he did, yeah. So he just looked terrible in the game.
Yeah, we'll blame that on him, to be fair. But but no, yeah, definitely he looked poor. We've seen it a lot, and it's really irritating to see, because you want to see. I'm not saying that if a player gets sent off, we've got the advantage. I don't want that to happen, because every fan wants a little bit of an advantage. But if you're getting these constant things and you don't want to see that, I don't want to go to a Chelsea United and see Rooney sent off by a dodgy decision, because it just ruins the match.
Yeah.
What do you think, John?
I mean, for me, bringing in ex-footballers, it won't happen. Ex-footballers won't step up to the plate, because when they were previously in the game, I mean, there's no respect for referees on the pitch anymore. It's shouting in the face. I mean, you watch rugby or like American football or anything, a referee makes a decision, that's it, it's final. There's no trying to get away with it, that's it. But I think as well,
so the sort of the spoilt brat routine, really.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, something doesn't go their way, they're jumping up and down in the referee's face. And as well, I think that there's so many sports, and let's be quite honest, I mean, I don't know about America, but over here in England, football is the biggest sport. There's no two ways about it. That is
that's
the
not
biggest
so much
sport.
here.
So I think that to not have sort of live action replay for the referees, but yet they've got it for pretty much every other sport, say, going, really. I mean, basketball, tennis, American football, everything like that, but they haven't got it for our football. It's not. I just think they brought in goal line technology, but for me, that should have been brought in before goal line technology, because you've got a fourth official on the line. So you need that action replay, because, as Andrew was saying before, there's so many players now that dive. There's so many players that go in and for leg breaking tackles and they get a yellow card. And it's just, the refereeing nowadays is obviously a lot different, but I think that something needs to change, and I think something will drastically change now. Obviously, with Hackett coming out and saying all these things, because I mean, he was a respectable referee at the time, and something just definitely needs to change. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah, definitely. But the ones that I've seen over the last few years, there hasn't been any improvement, and I think it's going to take maybe getting rid of Mike Riley. You know, unfortunately, it's probably going to have to, due to him being sacked, because the decisions they've got no better in the last few years, and it doesn't seem like anything's happening. The only thing that seems to be happening is bring in technology instead of actually improving refs, because the technology is only going to work for so many things. You know, technology, they aren't going to be able to place a sort of a technology on someone's leg to prove when they've been touched. Yeah. So, you know, referees are going to have to start doing this, and they're either going to have to sort of leave every tackle or foul everyone, and we're going to end up like basketball, a non-contact sport.
Yeah,
and it's disappointing to see.
I think that the other game, who were Liverpool playing the other week when Raheem Sterling shoved him in the face? Was it? It weren't
Swansea.
Was it?
Swansea.
Yeah,
Swansea.
yeah.
That was it. That was horrendous, because
I cannot believe the referee has let him to get away with that.
He didn't get a ban.
He was 2 yards away from the referee and he missed it.
Yeah,
that's it.
And the fact that John Joe Shelby got a ban for that because the referee didn't see it.
Yeah.
Retrospective ban. But then, if you did see the Raheem Sterling thing, why wasn't that acted upon?
It's just such bad refereeing.
Yeah,
that it's embarrassing now. It's just not good enough.
No.
And something does need to change, but I think as well, with bringing players in, whether it be Premier League players or Championship players, or even lower league players, the problem you've got is if referees are always going to make mistakes. I mean, everyone's human, let's be honest. So if, say, a Championship ex-player was refereing a Premier League match, all the newspapers and the what they call the
tabloids,
the pundits and things like that, they're all just going to be laying into this ex-Championship player saying, well, he's never played in the Premier League before, so we don't know what it's like. So it's all.
But don't you think it could be a sort of case of got to do something?
Oh, absolutely. Something needs to happen. Definitely, something needs to happen. And I think it will now. I genuinely think it will, with Hackett coming out and saying these. He's listed five referees that he thinks should get sacked, hasn't he?
Yeah, that's a big statement to make. You know.
Yeah.
That's going around world media. The referees are going to see this, so maybe the view he's looking at it, they're going to look at it and butt their ideas up, or they're going to get sacked. You know.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a win-win for him. Nothing's going to happen to him. So maybe he thinks, you know, I've got to let my views known, and he doesn't feel like it's getting enough coverage. But last word on the topic. What do you think we can do to stop this, Andrew?
I completely see the point they brought up, the counter-argument to what we were saying about football. I think it is definitely right about the fact that, regardless of what level player of football, I think there would be the pundits and everything would have a field day with it. I think in terms of solution, it's a tough one, but I think all we can take as a positive it is being addressed. So I think for us as fans, because we're just sick of it now, and I think publications coming out about saying that these refs aren't good enough. The only thing we can do now is give the people at the top of the referees one more chance, because they have addressed the problem. So hopefully they reinvigorate the whole referees, and like you say, either the referees will buck up, hopefully, or we will just have to get a new set of referees. I think that's the only, because I can't think of a solution, because it's such a touchy subject, because people are happy with goal line technology as technology, that's it. And some people want the extreme where it is on the bracelet and you can tell where someone's been touched and stuff. So, I mean, it's such a tough subject and one that we're going to have to just, in my opinion, give the people at the higher up just the decision to see what they say.
And also, it's very easy to look at different sports and say, we can use that technology, we can use that technology.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I grew up watching sports that have, all sorts of technology and so when I got into soccer, I was just like, football, but
good lad.
Yeah,
I was I've tried so hard to stop calling it soccer. I really have, but I was just kind of confused, honestly, as to why they haven't brought in technology.
I think it's because they don't want to change the game. It's the beautiful game as much as people see it, and it should be left the way it is. There wasn't these problems before. That's why. These problems have arisen in the last 15 years, haven't they? Before the Premier League, there wasn't much problems with diving and people calling for second decisions or people calling from that. Someone pushed someone and the referee didn't see it, so ban him. It used to be the referee's decision, it counts.
Yeah.
And, this isn't the problem. You don't look at this match, you don't look at this sport 50 years ago and think, oh, God, look at Pele diving, look at stuff like that, because it didn't happen. And that's why when you probably grew up watching the sport, you saw it from a different perspective. But
I honestly think the players play a big part in this, and the players need to get a grip and realise that they're grown men. I mean, I'm watching the Madrid derby now, and it is literally like watching some ballet dancers. It's unbelievable.
I know, I can't stand it.
It's just pathetic. The grown men, and they aren't helping the referees.
But also, we've seen it even in the Premier League. Even in my team, people are diving and people are expecting fouls, and I think it's got to the point where other people do it. So why can't I? Yeah. So that's just going to carry on, and also people with young kids. We all mimic David Beckham and stuff like that when we were growing up with free kicks. Now they're going to be mimicking diving as much as people don't want to hear it.
They do. They even here they do. Like when I play on a soccer team football team. I'm sorry. I'm trying so hard. But people dive like no tomorrow, and it's just like, stop. What are you doing? Stop.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's embarrassing. And when you're fans, you're looking at it like that. But I think they're thinking, I'm in it for myself. I can get a free kick out of this. Bang.
Yeah.
They don't think any further than that. They don't think anything about the referee or anything. They rarely get booked, so they probably carry on doing it. If they all of a sudden start getting cautions and red cards, then they are probably going to stop. But that's not going to happen. They're not going to change the rules to make red cards for diving. They're just not going to change that overnight. So, unfortunately,
I think they maybe, again, going back to the players, I think they should maybe bring in a thing that, because of course we can watch the replays after the game, the players can watch the replays after the game, so can the managers. So I think it's a case of tightening it up and say, listen, if you're caught diving in a game, then you fined X amount, or just some sort.
What, from the managers?
From the manager.
But then saying that, is Jose Mourinho gonna fine Eden Hazard for diving and getting a penalty?
Well, that's where it's all. I understand where you're coming from, but me, even as a United fan, when Ashley Young was diving all over the place not so long ago, it was embarrassing for me. As a United fan,
fans are the ones that sort of have to deal with it, because we're the ones that have to listen to people. Oh my God, so and so's diving. Aren't you embarrassed that one of your players is doing? And it's just like, well, we're not the ones condoning it. But I'm sure we'll hear about this topic every week until something's happened. But the last topic, the final topic of the show is transfer rumours. We've had few interesting rumours in the last couple of days. Apparently Lionel Messi has handed in a transfer request and wants to join Chelsea. Don't blame him personally, but
I don't believe that.
Oh, it's done, mate. It's done.
He's followed people on Instagram. That's it. It's
yeah,
done.
You know, his friend went on holiday to England the other day, so it's done. But
I follow Wayne Rooney. I'm starting for United next week.
Too right. Like Pogba joined Chelsea because he holidayed in London, even though he had a lot of friends in London. But it's pathetic. But one topic that has been doing the rounds the last couple of months, which seems to be coming to a close, is Victor Valdez signing for Manchester United. Andrew, what do you think of this? You know, Arsenal at the moment could do with a decent keeper. Do you think maybe he would have been a good choice?
It was exactly what I was thinking as soon as I heard it. I saw it on Twitter today. I just thought, he's going to Man United, a team that's probably got one of the best keepers in the world. And yet Arsenal stood here with Szczesny. It's like, what's going on? Why is this scouting? Like, Victor Valdez has been known for ages to be getting back to fitness and becoming a free agent and stuff. Like, he's free as well, so I thought Wenger would jump on that, a free agent. But, I mean, I think he's a great signing for Man United. I mean, it's perfect.
Yeah, it adds depth and it adds quality of depth, definitely. Especially that Arsenal fit would have been perfect considering the whole drama around Wojciech Szczesny at the moment. He's trying to basically save his career at Arsenal, and at the moment he doesn't seem to be winning it. You know, his performances last season I think were good, down to the fact that Koscielny and Mertesacker had the season of their lives. But at this moment in time, he's not showing it.
Well, it doesn't help when you get caught in the shower smoking neither. That never really
How do you smoke in a shower though? Let's be honest.
Well, when you play a game so bad like that, he wasn't really dirty, was he? Because he didn't do anything.
Sure, it doesn't help either when you're when Tottenham have got Lloris.
Not for long.
One of the best keepers in the world, you know.
Not for long. What I've been reading, apparently he's going to Madrid.
I don't know about that. Pochettino denied that he's going to be transferred. So
Lloris can't play Thursday nights at 5:00. Let's be serious. He needs to be in the Champions League.
Well,
no, I mean, no, I'm saying he shouldn't be. He should be in the Champions League.
But also, if David De Gea goes, Lloris may be in for a good shout with United. Nobody seems to be thinking about that because I don't think they're gonna. If David De Gea does go, which I hope he doesn't, because we want to keep the best players in the league, in the Premier League. But you know, Lloris may be in a good shout for Manchester United because Victor Valdez isn't going to be the starting keeper. What do you think, John?
I don't think De Gea is going anywhere, purely on the basis that he's an Atletico Madrid fan. Don't think he'll play for Real Madrid. As well, I think he's enjoying his time in England. He looks to be enjoying his football again because obviously a couple of seasons ago when he was buttering his fingers up before he was coming out for a game, he was down and out. But to be fair, every single United fan, well, let's say 80% United fans were saying De Gea out, De Gea out. What have we got? We've got some kid that doesn't know what he's doing. But whatever United have done with David De Gea is just unbelievable. I mean, I was watching Monday Night Football the other week and Gary Neville was sort of analysing him from 2012 to where he is now. And, I mean, that save against Raheem Sterling one-on-one when he was through. Obviously, he's come out and met Sterling and he's saved it. This season, he's just completely kept us where we are, to be honest with you. We wouldn't be where we are if it weren't for David De Gea. But I don't think we've got any worries about him leaving. Victor Valdez is probably just a little bit of competition for him to keep him on his toes. And I think you're safe. I don't think Lloris is going anywhere either.
Yeah. There's rumours that Wilfred Boney is going to be completing his deal to Manchester City in the next couple of days. Do you think that could be a good signing for Liverpool if they were maybe to sort of like steal the deal?
Excellent.
I think it could be a lifeline for Liverpool because isn't Boney the leading scorer of, or he was, of 2014?
Yeah,
I believe he is.
Yeah, so Liverpool could really kind of turn things around if they stole him.
Yeah, definitely. Andrew, what do you think of rumours suggesting that Arsenal would like to sign Morgan Schneiderlin, Loic Perrin and William Carvalho for 51 million?
Remember that point you made before, Liam, about Messi possibly going to Chelsea when you just don't bother reading the stories because you'll end up stupidly thinking they're going to happen? Like, guys, I may as well not be on this show as an Arsenal fan for this last segment because it's the January transfer window. Nothing's going to happen. Let's be serious, unless it's King Kellstrom number 2. He comes back, signs an injured player. Whatever. Let's just put on the front page of every newspaper, we're going to sign Messi for 10 quid because nothing's going to ever happen. There's no point. I don't even bother with January. I pretend there isn't a January transfer window anymore.
It could, but when you look at some of the transfers that could possibly happen, it's interesting. You sometimes, you do think, the January transfer window, nothing's going to happen, like you said, but then, you never know. Wenger could come out and shock you. He's seen something this season that he hasn't before to the extent of the Wenger out crowd.
But yeah, like you said, but on the serious of what you've said before, those players would be, if that was to happen, even just Schneiderlin, I mean, that would be an amazing signing for Arsenal because he's the kind of the player they need, that like holding midfielder in that section who can break up play and really help the team. And I think transfers though at Arsenal are just getting ridiculous now. And like you say, maybe it could be the fact that Wenger does see all these Wenger out and thinks, right, okay, maybe he has the money, maybe he doesn't to actually spend it, but I'm questioning some of the speculation, to be honest, though, in all fairness. Yeah.
Have you seen any transfer rumours, John, that you feel that quite interest you?
Well, to be quite honest with you, I'm getting a bit like that as a United fan, but not on that basis, on the basis that I don't want to get my hopes up. Obviously, there's talks of your defenders like Vlaar. I wouldn't mind a Vlaar. Seamus Coleman. I mean, Strootman, we've not heard anything about him for a while. Are we signing him? Are we not?
Yeah, there was rumours for a short time that Juan Mata was meant to be swapped for him, wasn't there? But
I just wouldn't do that.
No,
Mata has been on top form for us.
I think maybe if it was the Mata that sort of ended last season and started this season, then possibly. But, you're not going to sack you're not going to get rid of a player who's in his top form for a player who's injury prone. Injury prone and injured at the moment. It'd be like us swapping Remy for Sturridge. And also on that point, Liverpool need to spend money ASAP if they want to get in Europe. And I think they need to get in Europe, even if it's Europa League, to just secure that bit extra, because they're Liverpool. You expect them to do something, and at the moment they have got nothing. We always had Torres, Suarez, Sturridge, but at the moment we're not seeing anything, and it's strange.
I don't think they'll finish in Europe.
Say that again, sorry.
I don't think they'll finish in Europe. I think Tottenham this season will finish above them because they have Harry Kane.
I'm sitting here quietly celebrating.
Harry Kane will get them to Europe. No word.
Do you think he will do that, though?
Yeah, absolutely. He'll get an England call up, and I mean, he's getting played over the likes of Soldado and Adebayor.
Well, Soldado's absolute garbage to start, and Adebayor's hurt, so.
I mean, the thing is even if Adebayor was fit, I think Harry Kane would start over him.
Yeah.
And that is worrying. I would be worried, being a Tottenham fan, that it'd be like us having to start James Wilson over Falcao, Rooney and Van Persie. Me as a United fan, I would be bricking myself. But I don't think Liverpool have got the manpower, and I don't think Brendan Rodgers is, to be honest with you, with the way that Liverpool are performing this season, it's a bit like us last season. I don't think anyone will want anyone good enough will want to sign for Liverpool.
Yeah, that definitely could be an issue. And also, with Liverpool at the moment, do they have much of a budget after the summer?
Well, that's what I was going to ask then. I mean, think how much money they actually did really spend in the summer. I mean, even though they are Liverpool, like they've only just got Champions League this year and they're already out of it. So, like you're saying, is the budget actually going to be that big, really?
Yeah, you think like they potentially only bought that amount of players anyway because of the Suarez money. So, without a big transfer out, where does that money come from? And also, they're paying for this new not new stadium, but they're paying for the expansion on the stadium and the redevelopment around it. That's not.
We've got a new stadium as well.
Oh God!
But it's like what we're saying. We've said it in previous shows. Will they give the money to Rodgers? Do they trust him to spend?
I think if they would have won the league last year, then they would have given him whatever he asked for. But after the flop towards the end of the year, nah. I don't think the players back Rodgers because they've seen just the downturn this season. You might get a bit of loyalty from the players he's brought in or continue to play, but you've suddenly seen Gerrard. Sturridge seems to all of a sudden just be injured constantly after a 3-year last year.
Well, that is what Sturridge is like. That's what he was like at Manchester City, what he was like at Bolton, what he was like at Chelsea. That they just got lucky with him last season.
Yeah,
it was just lucky that him and Suarez stayed fit. And I just think that they need to sign a centre-forward because they can't keep shoving Sterling up front. He's not a centre-forward. For one, he's not big enough and strong enough yet.
No, and his pace, people work out pace, All you've got to do is just play a deep team and he can't do it. And we even saw against United.
Yeah. He's not big enough or strong enough, and without a doubt they are missing Sturridge. No question about it. They are missing Sturridge, and this is why I don't think Sturridge will get fit till at least the end of the season because he is so injury prone. And I think that this is why I don't think that they will get Europe next season. Sorry, that's the reason why. Yeah,
definitely, but Maybe Torres might have been a good move for him. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we'll end the show there, guys. Hopefully by this time the next show, Messi would have signed for Chelsea and
oh God.
And
Tyler signed for United,
and Arsenal would have got that £100 million budget to spend on,
which they won't spend anyway. So it's all good.
But no, I reckon Messi. I think it's 50-50, we're not sure at the moment.
There's no chance.
Depends how many more players he follows on Instagram. That'll be the sign.
To be fair, if anyone, I'm not even. There's no part of me that believes this is true. The only part of me that thinks that it could is Messi's got a buyout clause. So at the end of the day, if we bidded the amount of money that we know that Roman Abramovich has got, Barcelona don't actually have a say in the matter.
Yeah, but Leon, the problem that they've got is that they can't do any business in the transfer window for 18 months. They can't buy any players. So if they sell their best player ultimately, they can't go on and buy anyone. So,
true, but then they have just got Luis Suarez in.
Yeah, but look how bad he's performing.
But you could say that's because he's playing out on the wing.
Yeah, I just don't think it's ever going to happen.
No, I don't think it's going to happen. But all I'm saying is, from when you look at it from a financial point, it's probably the only team that would be ballsy enough to bid that.
Yeah, I think Barcelona fans will burn down the new camp if that happened.
Yeah, they would. They would. Like I said, the only sort of positive from that is they know they've got a world-class striker in Suarez, but then it's not really comforting knowing he isn't in the form of his life. But
no.
And knowing that he may go bite someone at any time.
Yeah, exactly. You never know who's next. But yeah, thanks for listening to the show. If you have any suggestions for the next topics, please leave it in the comment section. Please like and share the video if you enjoyed it, and thank you.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah. Cheers, guys. See you later.